What's up, everybody, and welcome to the TNR Sports Show, the TNR Sports Show. Ryan, what's going on, my brother?
Not too much. It's another fine weekend. Well, I guess end of the weekend.
Yeah,
And
recording
got
on
a
a
couple things to
Monday.
talk about. Not a whole
Yeah,
lot,
we
but
got
a
a couple
couple.
things to talk about. So we got a jam-packed episode coming, all kind of sports crap you're gonna be into. So we're talking drama today. We're having a little drama
Drama.
Monday, even though it's gonna come
Yeah.
out Tuesday. Having a little drama Tuesday.
A little dramatic President's
Drama.
Day.
A little dramatic President's Day. Happy birthday, Obama. Thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe. I think his birthday's Friday. Make sure you like and subscribe, hit the bell, comment. Man, why don't y'all just comment a little bit every once in a while? A bunch of losers.
Say hey.
Just comment. I wouldn't do that. Just comment and be
Just
like,
say
hey,
hey.
Juwan Howard doesn't deserve to be suspended. Or say, Juwan Howard does deserve to be suspended. Just give us your opinion on Juwan Howard being a scumbag. All right. Now we're going to get into it. So Juwan Howard was facing the Wisconsin Badgers. They blew him out. Do you know the final score to that game? I'm not sure.
Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin won 77-63.
Anyway, the Wisconsin coach took a timeout. Like 2 minutes?
15 seconds.
Oh, wow. So
I think it was like 15 seconds left. Yeah.
So Juwan Howard didn't like it. They got to the center line, and the guy was trying to talk to him, and Juwan Howard said, "Don't effing touch me. Don't effing touch me." And he touched him. And then they got in a big fight, and then
Punches were thrown.
Yeah, so Juwan Howard, in the moment, slapped a dude's head, the assistant coach of the other team. And that just kind of let the water
scrum.
out of the dam a little bit. Yeah, it was a little scrum. The announcers
What is a little, but...
Yeah, the announcer's like, we had a little scrum going on. And I was like, oh, yeah. That's a cool name. That's a cool way of putting it. But, yeah, the guy slapped the dude's head. And then you fast forward, about, 30 minutes? And Juwan Howard's at the press conference being like, I don't regret it. I told him not to effing touch me, and he shouldn't have touched me. I'm not happy about the timeout. Yada, yada, yada. So, Ryan, what do you think about Juwan Howard slapping that dude in his head?
I mean, at the end of the day, I know there's a lot of money, there's a lot of fans, there's a lot of emotions involved in these games, especially in the Big Ten. Big Ten loves their basketball. However, you can't just smack a dude. Like, you can't just be like, oh,
especially
I'm so
not
upset.
Being a coach, man. The last coach to get aggressive with a player like that, I don't know if you remember this, Ryan. Well, not the last one, but one that's pretty famous is the one Ohio State coach that like grabbed a Clemson kid or something like that. Oh God.
Oh yeah, I can't remember his name. In football.
God. Yeah, football, and he got fired. He was like legendary.
He got
fired for that.
Woody.
Yeah, Woody.
Yeah,
good old Woody the Woodpecker.
This is in the 70s before we were born, but
yeah,
you know.
before our parents were born. It's a long time. Well, probably not actually, but it was a long time ago. And now a lot of people are saying that he's going to be fired. Ryan, do you think he should be suspended or fired or fined or lashed?
Scalped? I don't know a whole lot about Juwan Howard's coaching career. I think he got him to the tournament last year.
They were like the number 1 seed last year.
They did pretty good last year. At least a suspension. I mean, you can't just smack someone at a basketball game and expect nothing to happen.
No, I agree.
I think it's potentially forgivable if he comes out, apologizes, and
very apologetic.
And if there's, that's at this rate, I would say fire him. I mean, if he's gonna be like that, you got to think he could do it again.
So. All right. Well, I was listening to Stephen A. Smith.
Okay.
And that's how I did my research on this. And he was saying, and I agreed with this, I don't think he should be fired. I think he should be suspended for the rest of the season. And that includes all.
Not much.
And not much, but he should be suspended for the rest of the regular season, the Big Ten tournament, and the NCAA tournament.
I don't think they'll make the tournament, but yeah.
Oh, the NIT. Whatever postseason crap they make, and I think they suck. Juwan Howard should be suspended. And here's the overarching argument against all this, right? Juwan Howard was mad that the Wisconsin coach, and me and Ryan discussed this before. I'm going to drop this truth bomb on y'all. Juwan Howard was mad that Wisconsin took a timeout. He thought it was disrespectful. But I have clear evidence right here that earlier this season, Michigan did the exact same thing against Indiana. So they led the game at the time. They won the game 80-62. They led the game 78-62 with 55 seconds left in the game. Michigan took a timeout. What do they need to take a timeout for? They were up what? What is that? Almost 20 points. It looks like a 16 points. So what is the point of that? What are you gaining? So Juwan Howard is sitting here right now in his gilded Michigan throne, sitting. Oh, I hate that he took that time out. It was disrespectful, and he shouldn't have touched me, and I was mad. But then you look at it from a different perspective. You did the same thing against Indiana when you blew them out.
Sore loser.
Yeah, you're sore loser.
That's what it boils down to. He's a sore loser. It's not that dude took a timeout. Coaches do it all the time.
Yeah. Dabo
Football, basketball, exactly. He's a sore loser. That's it.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, and it's bad. It's bad on a lot of levels, right? Nobody should punch really anybody. It's just not really the way you should do things. But Juwan Howard is supposed to be an example to the young men around him, right? So when you see a leader do that, or a supposed leader, you see a guy do that, smack somebody in the head, that unleashes everybody else to be like, okay, if he can get away with it, I'm going to be able to get away with it.
And they all bum rushed, and there was a big scrum.
The Wisconsin players started fighting each other, the Michigans, and everybody was scrumming. And then you look around the league, and you're saying right now, the whole NCAA is looking at this situation, and they're sitting there thinking, wait. Well, if he doesn't get this crazy punishment, he should. Then it's going to leave up more avenues, and you're going to have more issues. The hammer's got to fall hard. Now, how hard? I don't know. Maybe he should be suspended this year and a little bit of next year. Really smack it into him. And I don't know, slap it into him, maybe. There you go. But yeah, you can't give. It's about precedent, right? So if you let this slide and you ignore it, and you don't come down as hard as you should, the next guy is going to get away with it, and the next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy. So you want to send a message, I think. Whoever. I don't know who's it going to be. Is it going to be Michigan, the Big Ten, the NCAA? I don't know who's going to. I think it's the Big Ten, actually. That's what I read. So we have to wait and see. But overall, I am disappointed. I mean, Michigan, he's a good coach. And I don't think he should be either A, he's a sore loser, or B, he's immature for a 40, 50-year-old man, which is crazy to think. But he's possible. You got to get over it, man. If you want to lead championship programs, and I was going to say you don't see Coach K doing that kind of stuff, but he fakes injuries and is racist and stuff, so it's hard to say. But, I don't know. You can't get it most of the time. If you look at the good Roy Williams guy, you don't win consistently doing that kind of junk if you want to turn into a true blue blood, per se.
Yeah, and if I'm a parent of a kid who's thinking about going to Michigan, and I see the head coach who's supposed to be taking care of my kid or whatever for 4 years or 1 year, I guess. But
depends on who the kid is, right?
Yeah, exactly. Then I'm probably gonna be like, I don't know if I like that so much. Maybe I'll just go to.
I don't know if that matters anymore. How much money these kids make. I'm not forgetting about the transfer portal, all that. Just because it's not affecting us at this current moment doesn't mean it doesn't out there. Texas A&M. But regardless, I am disappointed. All right, said. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you updated on Friday's episode. We'll retouch this again because something's going to happen. We're recording this on a Monday. It's either going to happen today, probably already happened, our luck. It's going to happen in 5 minutes and after we record, and I'm going to be like, damn it. All right, moving on from that, Ryan wanted to bring up some NCAA football news, which is pretty good information. What is it, Ryan? It's the NFL playoff.
The college football playoff. I guess the playoff committee and the NCAA have decided to not expand the playoff until the current deal ends, which is 2026. So in other words, we're going to have the same 4-team playoff for the next, 4 years. And then, even then, they still may decide, hey, I don't want to do anything. We're just going to keep doing things the way we are before. Pretty much, it's just we're not talking about it. This is it until 2026. Then we'll talk.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. Obviously, I thought playoff expansion was needed. Now, on what level? I don't know. A lot of people argue for 8. I heard some people argue for 12. I thought that was a little crazy. I think 8 would have been good. Even if, you sit there and you think, well, Well, most of the games end up in blowouts. But I mean, this four did, right? I mean, if you think about it, maybe and you sit there and you think, well, if we expanded to 8 or 12 or whatever we decide to do, they're going to end up in blowouts anyway. Some of them are going to end up in blowouts, right? But if you don't, but that's not always the case. You're going to get some decent. Usually, what
Let's look at some
happens, this
games.
is kind of how it works in college football. Usually, there are about 3 or 4, well, really 2 or 3 that are 1, 2, and 3. Usually, those kind of are the big boys. They're going to win. They're going to be there. It doesn't matter. It's either going to be Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, sometimes LSU, yada, Georgia,
Georgia.
Texas A&M, whoever. They're going to be there. They're going to be up. Well, Texas A&M. It's going to be 8-4.
Not yet.
Soon.
Soon.
No, I don't think so. They'll still be 8-4. They'll manage away. Anyway, you have all this stuff, but if you expanded it to 8, you might not get a Clemson losing to a Cincinnati, or you might not get Alabama losing to an Ole Miss, but you would still have good matchups, like you would have like
A
Oklahoma
Utah
State.
versus Ohio State.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of game. And Ohio State won at the end of the day, but Utah was there if their quarterback didn't get hurt. If I'm not wrong about
No,
that.
you're right. They would have won.
Yeah, so I mean, you can look at all these little levels. Just because the Alabama is probably going to steamroll everybody, or Georgia's going to steamroll everybody, doesn't mean that you can't squeeze some good games in there. And that's, I think, the main argument.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? You might end up pulling a stunner. I mean, Alabama can lose. Georgia can lose, apparently.
I think that see, I mean, even if you expand a playoff, as you said, you're still going to get the main teams winning. Alabama's probably going to win, every other year like they have been. Clemson's going to be in the mix. Ohio State's going to be in the mix. Georgia's going to be in the mix. We all know that. But like, there can be upsets. I mean, look at the NCAA tournament.
Right.
I mean, at the end of in basketball, at the end of the day, you generally have a good idea of who's going to win that thing. There are some upsets along the way. Every now and like a Duke will go down, a Kentucky will go down, whatever. But at the end of the day, exactly. At the end of the day, one of the good teams that you expected to win is going to be there at the end. Very rarely does an underdog win the whole thing.
I think Gonzaga, I don't think ever. I think what we had in North Carolina versus like Gonzaga or Villanova for like 3 years straight or something like that. The teams that are supposed to be there at the end of the day are going to be there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like the big boys. The big boys are going to go and they're going to play ball and they're going to do what they need to do to make it there. Some teams like Baylor last year were just so good. They're just not going to be beat.
And Gonzaga,
But think about that. Wasn't it Ohio State last year that lost to that team from we got a barking dog in the background. Wasn't it was Ohio State that lost to the Oral Roberts team from Oklahoma or something like that?
Yeah, I can't remember who Oral Roberts beat, but it was someone.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
it happens.
It happens. It's something that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, like I even remember the first playoff in 2014. Alabama played Ohio State. And everyone expected Alabama to destroy Ohio State, and that was it because Ohio State had a third-string quarterback. And Ohio State won the championship at that. They beat Oregon. Right. And that's when everyone's like, oh, my gosh, the playoffs are such a great idea. This is amazing. Ohio State wouldn't have even been into contention had the playoffs not been there. And now they won the national championship.
Right.
I mean, like, even this year, when you look at the playoff, I mean, this year's playoff was a little weird. I honestly think like Ohio State probably could have done some damage.
Yeah, probably.
They beat
Michigan probably could have.
Yeah, they beat Utah, and they probably could if they played Michigan again, they probably would have won. They would have beat Cincinnati. Let's just be honest here. Would they have beaten Alabama or Georgia? No, but I think there would be a lot of interesting games. Like I would have loved to see a semifinal Ohio State versus Alabama or Ohio State versus Georgia. That would have been great. And you would have gotten a good, quarterfinal or whatever. It would have been fun.
Yeah, instead of Cincinnati versus Alabama. All right. That covers that. We'll have to. I mean, we'll revisit it next year when we're complaining about the 4 championship games that sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, not championship games. But looking forward, I've got some ideas for the TNR Sports Show coming up. College basketball entertains people the closer we get to the tournament. So we're just going to talk about kind of the main stuff, and we shorten the podcast length up. If I don't know, most of you probably have noticed. We went from, an hour and a half
Yeah.
to now like 20 minutes.
20 minutes
So
or
we
so.
keep it kind of low now, just so, you don't get bored or whatever. We want to keep it entertaining for everybody. But, when at the end of the day, with kind of direction we're going to move in, we're unsure, during football season. I think college basketball has an audience. I don't know how much of our audience it is, but it has some sort of audience. Ryan kind of brought down to me, when we were just talking about it. He said, you look at Arkansas, right? You see all these Arkansas fans, like, whoopee, whoopee, yeah. And Arkansas is good at basketball, but the rest of our teams kind of suck. Clemson does not give a Clemson Carolina
sucks.
tries to give a crap, but they suck. And
Oklahoma
I don't know,
sucks.
Oklahoma's not very good now.
Oh, no, we lost our best player.
So
and
it hurt them.
I think we've lost. So we lost 7 in a row. Then we won 1 game. We beat Texas Tech, which is a big one.
We won 8 in a row, I think.
And then we lost 3 in a row. And so it was like, whatever. It's
Eric
over.
Musselman teams do take a little while to get gelled up. And once they get gelled up, once you kind of find your...
Y'all are ranked now. You're back.
Well, we're
18th?
23rd. We're 18th today.
Yeah.
It just came out. So, yeah, it's good for the Hogs. Good for the Hogs. Yeah, so, I was looking through a pair of rose-colored glasses thinking, everybody cares about Auburn. I think people care about college basketball. They definitely care about it more than college baseball, which is back and will have to be forced to talk about it at some point. But we're looking at different avenues kind of to take. Maybe we'll talk about a little bit of everything. I'm thinking what the new direction of it's going to be, especially during this off season, is going to take whatever the new thing is, whatever league is that. Whether it's college basketball, today was Juwan Howard, and college football, it was the playoff. Tomorrow at me, Steph Curry tears his, I hope not, but Kevin Durant gets murdered or whatever, I don't know. I'm trying to think of ideas of things that could randomly happen, or James Harden scores 100 points in a basketball game.
Yeah, and then he decides he wants to get traded back to OKC.
Or and then maybe Zion eats another hamburger or something. We just don't know. We just don't.
We know that one. That's when we know.
That's kind of the area. We're not going to be doing the typical Arkansas beat Florida and the big matchup of the SEC, blah, 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 blah. Especially not until the NCAA tournament or SEC tournament. That's when we're going to until the SEC tournament starts, we're not really going to be like, I'm not going to be sitting here breaking down, yes, JD Notie hit 3 out of 14 threes and he shot well from the left side of the corner. And I'm just not going to do that. It's boring. And nobody cares. So we're going to be kind of focusing on what's new, what's popping, what's fresh, taking every week at one at a time. Maybe one next episode will cover the MLB lockout because apparently that's going to be a thing. And but we'll go from there. But anyway, I just like to thank everybody for watching. Ryan, any last thoughts before I finish?
Nope.
We're good to go. I'd like to thank everybody for watching the TNR Sports Show. We're back. We'll be back recording an episode on Friday. Well, Friday we'll release a new episode, and we're going to keep the 2 days a week going. That's what I like. Now that it's shorter, it doesn't even matter anymore. So we're going to keep it short, keep it sweet, get to the point, talk about what we need to talk about, and we'll be back. We'll be back. Whatever we're going to talk about. So we're going to become a wide variety until football rolls around again.
Until football, yep.
We'll go from there. All right. Well, thank you for watching the TNR Sports Show. We will return all my Arkansas stuff in the background. Ryan's got his one picture frame. Two of Trevor Lawrence. Is it just Trevor Lawrence?
That's Travis Etienne as well.
Oh, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson going to the Steelers. That's the newest rumor.
What are you talking about Deshaun Watson for?
He's going to the Steelers.
Why are we talking about him?
Because he's going to the Steelers.
Oh, okay.
Because he likes Brian Flores or something. All right. I'll talk with y'all later. Peace.